Hi everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Dressing Room Diaries. Dressing Room Diaries is a podcast/series that I created because I feel so inspired by a lot of amazing actors, directors, performers, creatives in this industry, and I want to make sure that we have interesting conversations about productivity, goal setting, how to stay healthy mentally and physically while doing this job, things that we love about our jobs, things that are maybe more challenging about the jobs. And I think it's beautiful to create a platform to showcase different perspectives. My first guest is Ryan Kopel, and we had a beautiful conversation about what success means to us, what it's like to perform in a big show, and the differences between film, TV, and theater, topics that I'm sure we'll talk about in loads of different podcasts, but it's so stunning to see people's different perspectives on this. Ryan and I are in the same show, Dear Evan Hansen, at the moment, and while we have a lot of similarities, there's also things that we think so vastly different about, and I think that's stunning. I think you can be colleagues, friends, or each other's inspiration while also having a different approach to life, and I think that is a beautiful way to learn. It was the first episode, and so there's definitely things that I'm like, oh, Vivian, you should change these things. But I'm so excited to show you guys the first episode. I just want to say thank you to Ryan for joining me. And for you guys watching at home, please let me know who else you would like me to interview. So without further ado, this is the first episode of Dressing Room Diaries. This is from me to you, and I hope you enjoy. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Dressing Room Diaries. I am so excited because I am going to kick off the first episode with an amazing guest. He is an actor and performer, best known for playing Davy in Newsies and playing the main character in the amazing show called Dear Evan Hansen. Heard of it? It is none other than Ryan Kopel.
Hi.
Welcome to the pod show cast.
Thank you. I'm so excited. I can't believe I'm your first guest.
Oh my God, I'm so excited too.
That's pressure.
Yeah, well, no, it's not because we know each other. If you don't know this, we are both in Dear Evan Hansen.
We are.
And
Very professional and serious in it.
very professional, serious actors. So I want to talk to you about career.
Okay.
Where do you want to go? And it's called Dressing Room Diary. So my first question is, when you look into your diary, what does your 2025 look like?
Oh, that's such a good question. Well, for the first 7 months, it's Dear Evan Hansen filled. We are touring the country until the first week of July.
Yes.
So, like, I don't know if this is so kind of obnoxious to say. I don't know if people understand how like jam-packed full the tour is.
Right.
Like, we just go week to week, to different venues. So
For sure.
from now until July, I'm kind of
Booked and blessed.
well. No, I hate that phrase. I'm doing the show. I'm very excited to be doing it because we actually are having the best time.
For sure, yeah.
It's such a nice cast to be a part of. Yeah, I'm doing that. I've got a little holiday booked.
Oh, where are you going?
We have 1 week off, and I'm going to Barcelona.
Really?
Yeah,
So
I'm going to Primavera.
we can share this, right? We're going to Italy.
Yes, we're going to Trieste in the end of May and do like 4 or 5 performances there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you know that the last performance, Double Show Day, is my birthday?
No, in Trieste.
June 1st.
Double show day.
Double show
Well, I'll
day.
see you for one of them. And then after that, a big long break with no speaking or singing, hopefully.
I wanted to ask you about this, right? Because obviously you've done Newsies, which love, and you love everyone in the cast. We've had this conversation.
I did.
Sorry, I'm just joking. You've done that, but then you booked this part.
Yeah.
You booked Evan and Dear Evan Hansen. Was there any part of you that thought you were gonna book this? Like, honestly, when you got that first audition, were you like, yeah, this is me, this is my thing? Or were you like, wow, there's a million people auditioning, I don't know?
I mean, I think the latter. I feel like it was a really big thing, the audition. I knew so many people going in for it. I'd heard of people going in for it. It wasn't really something that was on my radar as well. I feel like I tend to, when I'm in a job, by the end of it, I get like, oh, I want to do something different now. So I'd done Newsies, I'd done I'd just done Adam's Family, the concert version,
Yes.
which was so much fun in February. So I think in my head, I was like, oh, I'm not sure if in my dream world I would do a musical right now. So it wasn't really on my radar. And then when I got the audition through, I've said this before, but I had never seen it. So I just read the script for the audition, and I ended up really loving it. And I was like, oh, well, I really love this character, and I really like the songs, so I would like to go for it. But I'm never a person who goes into an audition thinking, I've got this. Like,
Same.
Ever. And I don't know if you get this, but I just always get overwhelmed by the amount of people auditioning. Like, you know, when you walk into the building where they're auditioning, and it's literally like a swinging door of people, and you're
people who look like you, but sometimes they really don't, and you're like, what are you going for?
So no, and even up into the last audition, I was like, I just knew that I knew my version of what the character was, but I had no idea if that was what they were going for or what they were looking for.
Yeah.
So it was a lovely surprise.
Do you think you stuck to that character that you initially, is that like a thing you were like, okay, I'm going to show this side of me? Because, and this is good for the viewers at home as well, like, it's easy to just copy something or, you know, to try and fit into something, but sometimes they're looking for something so specific, and you might be offering them that version. Do you think that version is the version that it is today, and how has it like evolved?
No, it's definitely evolved. I mean, I kind of believe that characters that I play evolve. The character I played by the end of the show is never the character that I started playing. And there's similarities, and I guess the kind of basics of the character are all there, but you get to know the person. You know what I mean? Throughout the year that you play them. So it changes, and your kind of understanding of them deepens maybe. And I think my instinct of who my Evan has stayed pretty true to form. From the first reading of the script, I think for me personally, I related to that kind of, I said this in rehearsal 9 million times, but the people-pleasing element of Evan, especially when I was younger, I really had that in me, and I just wanted to kind of please everyone and make everyone happy and make everyone like me and be good and all that stuff. And I think that's the part of Evan I really tap into, and I'm sure we'll talk about it, but like the conversation of his choices being questionable in the show, it makes sense to me, a lot of them, because I can see why you would be facing a grieving mother and just a 17-year-old just want to say anything to help. You know what I mean? So even though you're not thinking of the long-term consequences.
Yeah, especially when you're 17.
100%.
But also, like, obviously it's a conversation of, like, is this, in any show, is this person, what they do, is it good or bad? But when you're playing the person, whether it's an awful person, well, whatever, that's obviously up for debate, but, like, whether they make choices that are maybe not that good, you have to understand why they're doing them, because otherwise you can't play it. You have to have some sort of respect for the character that you're playing, or at least understanding.
And also, no one's purely good or bad. You know what I mean? No one in the world. Everyone's mum thinks they're nice. Like, kind of thing. So, I think I understand the kind of questions people have sometimes about the character, but I do think it simplifies it. It should be like, is he a bad person? Is he a good person? I think he's a confused 17-year-old.
Yes, and he has his own things going on as well. Like, it's not that simple. And also in this show, I find all the characters are flawed. And they're all dealing with grief in a different way, and I 100%. Think that's good, because everyone is kind of imperfect.
And you end up loving that.
But so, you got the part.
I did.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
You're doing great, sweetie.
Bye.
Loving the performance. But then you have to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I am sometimes like this. I'm like, oh, I would love to do this. And then you have to do it. And you're like, well, how? The singing. You've done Newsies. You've done plays as well. Totally different.
Different world.
Totally different. And now you have to play a character that goes through an emotional roller coaster, which I would think that's hard. But then also he sings like 10 songs.
9 songs too many.
Right. So how did you feel when you got it, and how did you prepare for that even before rehearsals.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it is a pretty disciplined life to play this role particularly. And it's not always. Like, when I did Newsies, I loved Davy so much. And it wasn't that taxing a role. It was, I mean, compared to what those boys did in that show. Like, you know what I mean? I'm chilling. But this is, as you say, the emotional element of it. Obviously, you're going on the journey of the character every night. But it is the kind of, it's a demanding role vocally. So it's just, it is just looking after yourself. It's drinking 9 million liters of water a day. It's not speaking till...
Is it something that you learned along the way, or...?
Yeah, I had a pretty clear idea going into the contract that I knew that I wanted to be disciplined in it. And I knew what...
You did say that.
Oh, yeah.
You were like, I'm not going to be fun.
Yeah.
Because you are a really fun person.
Well,
usually.
I usually like to think
right.
so. But this, with this contract, I just knew that I know the limitations of my voice. And, like, I know that people out there who I'm very jealous of can have a bottle of wine every night and go out with their friends and then come in and sing like a top C. I know I can't do that. I have to like look after myself and look after my voice. So it's just really dull. It's really boring, but it's just getting your sleep, drinking your water. The routine of that, like, I actually do enjoy the discipline of it and enjoy the routine of that discipline. I enjoy getting up in the morning and like going for a run and not speaking till 1, or you know what I mean? Like there's a weird freedom that discipline also gives you. I don't really understand it.
But I thought that you were going to be like, because you're always being so productive. But I am, like, I'm on this grind, right?
No, you are.
And I think...
Constantly working. She honestly never stops.
And it's because I like it, and it's because of that routine. And this is the thing as well, like, eating healthy and all the stuff that we already know. Yeah, go to the gym, eat healthy, drink water, you'll feel better. It's true. And then, obviously, because you had to do it, that's when, and you now done it for a long time, that's when you really reap the benefits. Whereas maybe before, because you didn't have to, it's so much easier to go out. And it is good to socialize, but obviously, if you do go out and you have alcohol the next day, you'll feel tired. And it won't be the, you know what I mean? You won't be your full productive self. And you don't always have to be.
I think it's balance as well, isn't it? It's
sure.
It's not...
And we did go out. During, we did go out anywhere. So.
Ish.
And we went to the Christmas party for that one picture.
Oh, yeah. I do have to get better at balance. I'm kind of all or nothing. Are you the same?
Used to be, trying to be better.
Yeah, like I'm either drinking green juice every day and eating really well and going to the gym, or I'm like chocolate for breakfast, doing nothing, all that stuff. Like, and I think the kind of sweet spot is the balance. And
for sure.
Yeah. And I like on a Sunday and a Monday, I like to see my friends and I go home to see Johnny, and that's really nice. And
Johnny is his boyfriend.
Johnny's my boyfriend. And I'd say, that does probably keep me happy and healthy. And it's always a nice thing to look forward to. And just having that, I'm super lucky to have that in London and have that kind of base there. Because I think when you live out of a suitcase, it can feel super...
Yes.
You can feel lost easily, but it's quite nice that I feel like I'm going to these places to visit for 5 days and then I come back to work.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, it is really nice in that sense.
That is an interesting thing, and I definitely want to like delve into that topic, maybe like in another video, but like touring and what to expect. It's different, and everyone does it differently and copes with it in a different way. And I also think, because for me, this is not about me, but let's talk about me.
No, do it.
Because obviously I did 9 to 5, and that was not at all like Evan Hansen, but it was way harder for me than this track.
Yeah.
And I used to go out and stuff, but it would make my life so much harder. But I also didn't have time, and this is what I want to talk to you about. The reason right now why I have all these goals and stuff is because I also have that time and mental space to think about the future and to think about all these things.
Yeah.
And I remember 9 to 5, I didn't have that because all I thought about was my voice and what I'm going to do tonight. And then I was tired, and then I went to bed, and then I slept, and then I did the show, and so on.
Yeah.
How... Because obviously, just for people watching, Ryan shares the part, so he doesn't play all of the shows.
No.
Thankfully.
I have an alternate, thank God.
Yeah, so you do have your afternoons, but how do you find time to think about things outside of work future goals and things that you want to achieve? Maybe like you're running and all of that stuff. Like,
I don't have any goals with running. None.
of me trying to make you look good, and you're like, well, no.
I just
Run away from my problems.
I don't know. It's not. I have to be completely honest, and I think genuinely, Viv's amazing at being so productive and ambitious, and I do have ambition, but I'm not really a person who kind of sits and plans and thinks, and like, even I always struggle when people are like, what do you want to do next? I'm like, I have no idea. And
I think that's a bad question anyway.
well, it's not necessarily bad or good, it's just I just never really think about it. I just will just take it as it comes.
The reason why I say that's a bad question is because in our industry, I find that you don't know what you're doing next. You don't have the influence, and sometimes you don't have anything and you're stressed about it, and then someone goes, so what are you doing next? And that kind of gives you that pressure.
I know. Someone else made the stage door the other night. Do you know what you're doing next? And I went, girl, I'm gonna get through this.
For sure, yeah.
To get through the week. That's what I'm doing next.
Yeah.
Everything works for everyone individually.
Yeah.
Like, and you are so forward thinking, and you're
career-wise.
Yeah.
But I'm not just talking about career, but like things like holidays, do you want to buy a house? Do you know what I mean? Like, do you want to buy a cat? Is there like anything?
I probably have hopes and goals in other aspects, like more specific. Like, I'd love, like, just like moving in with Johnny and getting a flat and stuff like that. That's probably things that I do really look forward to, and probably like motivate me as well.
Yeah.
Like when I don't know, like we're going to Barcelona, and sometimes when I'm having like a tough week, I'm always like, you're making the money for the holiday. Like, it'll be so worth, you know what I mean? Like, it'll be so worth it when you're lying on the beach or listening to.
But that is really important. It is so important to not just focus on the career. When I'm talking about goals or productivity, it's always about an end goal of happiness. It's never about, I'll be happy because I'll have whatever amount of followers. It's about, what opportunities can this bring me, or like where can this take me? Some people love going on tour internationally because they can see the world. Like, there's other things than just, I want to tick off certain roles. Like, I think we're kind of the same in that sense. And also, you have no influence on that thing.
No.
Dream role. I don't know.
Never. I have no clue. No. Never.
And that's also so okay. And I think the conversations that I want to have are about like, success. We think about money or all this stuff, but that is not, everyone defines success differently. And I think and I love that about you, because you are technically a super successful actor, obviously, because you're doing wonderful things. But also, what I love about you is that you're like, I'm not saying that you don't care, but it's not at all your priority. Like, you just want to have fun and like do a cool job. You know what I mean?
Lady Gaga.
I was gonna say that's your goal for this year is more Lady Gaga.
And it's coming March 7th. Stream it. Mayhem.
Is she gonna go on tour?
I don't know. I've not heard anything about it. I mean, she usually goes on tour with an album. She does the balls.
Well, if that's... I don't know.
Some balls. So the Monster Ball, the Born This Way Ball, the Art Pop Ball, the Art Rave, Chromatica Ball. Been to all of them. And I will be going to the Mayhem Ball.
I was going to say, when that gets announced, that will be the #1 priority for the year.
1 million.
Right? And if you go, that will define how good your year is. Mm-hmm. Nothing to do with anything we spoke about.
No, Abracadabra is already defining my year.
TikTok video, go watch it.
I really do get when people are like, this show means so much to me. I'm like, I get it, girl. I feel the exact same about Lady Gaga.
I don't have that about anything.
Yeah, you're lucky.
Is that true?
I don't know. I guess it's very inspiring. Like, I find her really inspiring. It's so difficult to explain because it's not like a joke. You know what I mean? Like, I laugh about it real, but like, I love her. And I remember being...
Sorry, I need to, because that's the thing, and I know you're serious.
Yeah,
it's so hard to not laugh at you.
No,
when you talk about the balls.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna now try and like really listen to you when you
I remember being 12 years old and watching the Bad Romance music video and being like,
So good.
Just not even, like, what do you know, 12, but, like, just being instinctually like, oh, I'm drawn to this person. And then from there, it's been a lifelong love affair.
I mean, she has done amazing, cool things, out-of-the-box things when she started out. So I do get it.
Unbelievable. And just, like, obviously the creative endeavors are amazing, but also just, like, who she is as a person and what she's fought for in a time when people weren't really fighting for that, not openly and not A-list people anyway. It's just amazing. I find her so incredible. But I don't want to turn this whole interview into Lady Gaga.
It was my top question.
Good.
It wasn't a question. It just said Lady Gaga. Because I feel like I feel like people know this about you, but I'm not sure they know how. Like,
well, I do. Yeah, I do have to hold it in sometimes because I'm like, don't.
You don't though.
I do manage to mention it in most interviews. I don't know.
I love Ryan. Like, I literally, like, he's so weird. And this is what what I say about, like, everyone in this cast. And you are a cool person, but then also, am I the first person to say? You said,
I've never been told that before.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I think you have, like, some sort of, like, a swagger.
That's definitely the first time I've been told that.
Okay, no, but you have, like, something about you that is cool. But then you are like a kid, you know, like when children are like aunts and uncles and mom and dad and grandparents go sit down, like over there, I prepared a dance.
Oh my, the story of my life.
Right.
Yeah.
And you grow out of it, you know, and then, you know, you become a professional actor, you grow out of that, right? Not Ryan. So yesterday we recorded a video for TikTok, like I said, at Ryan Kopel on TikTok. Abracadabra, the song.
Yep, choreography.
I walk onto, what was it, beginner's call, and I walk onto stage left, and I just see like a torch, and then a group of people, as if someone's breakdancing or there's like a dance battle. No. It's Ryan who was like, guys, gather around. I need to show you something. That's
like what happened, but what actually happened was someone asked what I'd done with my day because they'd done a matinee. And I said, I spent most of it trying to learn the Mayhem choreography. And they said, did you? And I said, yeah. And they went, show us. And I went, okay. And I did the full performance. And then got tapped on the shoulder and said, time for the show.
Right. Anyway, I have a question for you.
Go.
Because this is interesting about Ryan. Everyone knows you've done Newsies. Everyone knows you're Evan Hansen. But you've also done some screen work.
Yeah.
Most notably, House of the Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
How was that?
So exciting. I mean, a different world completely, and not anything. Like, I trained in musical theatre, so that was always kind of, like, certainly, like, where my heart is. That is not where my heart is. My heart's on the left side. But I'm probably always will be. But I can't deny that I was super excited about the fact that I'd gotten to do it. And it started, you know, in the pandemic when the theatres had closed, and I got an audition for Casualty, which is, anyone doesn't know, it's kind of this like long running drama, I think you'd call it, like a medical drama in the UK. And it was literally just, because it was pandemic times, it was a self-tape. It might have been 2 self-tapes. And then got the job and filmed that episode in the pandemic. And it was amazing, but like I honestly had no clue.
You did the self-tape. That was a big thing in the pandemic. You had to learn how to do it, even for musical theatre.
Yeah.
And then what role was it? And like when you booked it, what was the first day like?
So the role was, his name was Frank, and he was like 18 or 19, and he was working on a building site for the first time because his parents something had happened. His dad had gotten ill or something, so he had to go to work. Something happened on the building site, and then that was the Casualty. And it was an amazing episode, and it was just an amazing way to kind of like get into the industry. I know those kind of shows, Casualty, Doctors, the soaps, like so many actors, that's their first job, and it's their way into the industry. And it really is, there's a reason for it. It's because there's so many amazing people on those jobs, and it's such an institution. But saying that, day one, I honestly, like, no clue. I remember being picked up from the hotel. You picked up at like 5 a.m, taken to my trailer. Everyone was talking about base camp. Everyone was talking about being traveled to set and what hour that would be. Cut to me going to hair and makeup about half an hour later, going back to my trailer, honestly waiting in my trailer for, I think it must have been about 4 hours. And I was like, contemplating phoning my agent and being like, I think they've forgotten about me. Like, I don't know what's going on. But that's just the way sets work. Like, it's just takes ages, and there's different shots that they're doing throughout the day. And then, worked with, most of my scenes were with a woman called Caitlin, and she was so phenomenal. She has done so many cool jobs, and I just remember her, like, really holding my hand through it, and just, obviously coming from theatre, you play it out, you know what I mean? Yes. And I just remember her being like, we're just speaking, just me and you. And it was so incredible, and she was so kind to me, and I'll honestly never forget it. It was the best first experience.
And then you did a huge show, filmed in Leavesden.
Partly in Leavesden, House the Dragon. So that was wild, because that came about when I was in Newsies, and I did a self-tape, and I remember doing the self-tape at the Troubadour because I had no time, did it between shows, sent it away, not really thinking anything of it, got a recall and did a chemistry read with the boy. My scenes were with Kieran. I then ended up getting that throughout Newsies, and it just so happened so wild. The first week of filming, because we did reshoots a bit later, but the first week happened to fall in our week's break of Newsies. It was unbelievable. Like, you couldn't have written it. It was crazy. And I mean, that was the wildest experience, because I'd never actually seen the show Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon, but I knew, like, everyone knows about Game of Thrones. Yeah. The scale of it is like
the sets and everything.
Like, literally, they've built a whole town. Like, there's side streets, and there's a ship and a dock, and it's unbelievable. Now, most of our filming was actually in Wales. We were literally
on location,
the hillsides of
so
Wales.
Cool.
Oh my God, it was mental. But that was amazing, and just to be a part of that world. And then when that episode came out, like, I've probably the fandom of that. You know what I mean? They are so passionate.
Because the reach, like, obviously we tour a country and we have quite a lot of people sitting.
The reach of TV,
it's of international television.
Unreal. Yeah, again, just like, cannot say enough good things about that team. Our director, the Kieran, who I did my scenes with, literally is like a friend for life. I think he's just unbelievable.
That's
and he's so talented, and like, a really cool experience.
So, safe to say, if there's anything else coming up in the TV film world, you would not say no.
Yeah. As I say, at the end of a job, I always kind of itch for something else. So
something different,
Yeah. So we'll see.
For sure.
Who knows?
And your wig looked amazing.
My wig was wigging.
Right.
That was it was so funny. I remember going for the wig fitting, and they had like loads of different options, and then we decided to go for the
new section time. It is called V's Club Questions. If you don't know what V's Club is, it is my broadcast.
If you don't know what V's Club is, get to know.
Yes, because I'm wearing my V's Club merch as well. There you go. I was actually contemplating getting you one to wear today.
Oh my God, I would have worn it.
Well, but it's Saturday, so I have to pack my bags, so
fair.
I'll make Alice wear it.
Because we live out of a suitcase.
V's Club question time. So V's Club is my broadcast channel on Instagram. It's free. I asked the V's Club members, the elite.
Wow.
Well, I might be doing a little interview with Ryan Kopel from Newsies, Dear Evan Hansen, and House of the Dragon.
And just life, really.
And Lady Gaga's #1 fan.
Little monster.
Right. The balls. And
can this episode be titled The Balls?
Yes.
I think
Ryan
it genuinely should.
and his balls.
Ryan and the balls.
Topics, balls.
Yeah, I think it really should.
And loads of people sending questions.
Really?
They love you.
Oh.
They want us to know everything about you. Social security number.
Well, not everything. I won't tell you everything. There's some things that are private.
I think I chose some cute ones.
Go on.
So, Ariel Tums asks, if you could play any other character in the show being Dear Evan Hansen, I assume.
Yep.
Regardless of gender, who would you play and why?
That's such a good question. God, it probably does have to be Heidi Hansen.
I knew you were going to say
It's
that.
such a good character. It's such a good character, and she gets the best song in the show, I think. There's so many good ones. I'm not even just saying that. It is rare, but they're forever. Good for you. Waving's great.
Waving's still great.
Yeah.
No, but that's true, because I've never done a show where if the music comes on the shuffle or whatever, I would immediately be like, I'm not at work. With the Dear Evan Hansen, I sometimes just let it
is bangers.
Bangers after bangers. All right, second V's Club question. Maddie Caswell, XX, asks, where were you when you found out you were cast as Evan, and who did you tell first?
I was on the tube. I'd just been to the gym, and I was going home to Johnny's home, to West Ealing. So I was at West Acton Station, and my agent phoned me and told me, and I was so excited. I got off the tube, even though I wasn't at my station, and I had to walk or run to my station, and I phoned my mum first, because I was about to see Johnny, and I was going to tell him in person.
Yeah.
And I phoned my mum, I phoned my best friend Max, I phoned my best friend Jed, and I think that was it.
Did you cry?
No.
Do you ever cry?
No, I'm not a crier in life.
Which is funny because you cry so much on stage.
I know, maybe I'm getting it all out there, but I'm not really a crier.
You cry on stage and you really are a serious actor most of the time.
Well,
lately.
as serious as acting gets, it's all silly.
It's silly. So last week, I don't think I've ever broke so bad.
I can think when you... No, I'm kidding.
No, I've never, but no, so bad where it was uncontrollable and it wasn't even that funny.
No, it wasn't that funny.
It wasn't that funny, but I
I
couldn't stop. It was your face.
Well, I do, and I will so own it. I love a giggle on stage. I really do. I
Sure.
love the feeling of not being able to laugh, but you want to laugh so badly. So I am bad for it, and I completely own it. But last week was a different kettle of fish because we have sliders on some big glass pane windows on our stage that like slide in, slide out. And this scene, Alice does her Good For You verse, and the sliders are open, and I come through. And last week they just didn't open, so I basically like head butted into them, and then go straight into my scene with V.
And it was very serious scene.
And it was a very serious scene, but it wasn't that week because we literally couldn't look at each other. So we were finding everywhere on the stage to look. We were looking at the floor, we were looking at the audience, we were looking anywhere, but still saying the words.
Still saying the words, and we didn't actually laugh, but it was so impressional. I loved it.
I loved it. It was
thank
fun.
you
It
for
was
that.
so fun.
Yes,
You're
so
welcome,
amazing.
and thank you.
All right, well, we're almost at the end of our little Dressing Room Diaries. First episode ever. Oh my God.
Woo!
I'm so, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for doing it.
So, I have 3 questions. They are big
Go on.
and heavy, but I
Okay.
think they're good to reflect on life a little bit.
Great. I love a deep question.
So, number 1, and I ask everyone this because I would love a new perspective, is what does success mean to you? So, we spoke about that a little bit before as well, but if you had to define success, broad term, what is that to Ryan Kopel?
Success to me, it's a balanced, happy life. Like, I know that's quite generic, but I think happiness for me lies in balance. Kind of touched on it before. I tend to be quite all or nothing. And I find I'm at my happiest when I have a nice balance between work and personal life stuff and friends and family. And like if I dive too much headfirst into work stuff, I can get overwhelmed
Yes.
and all that stuff. But equally, if I go without work for too long, I feel a bit unfulfilled and unsatisfied. So it's the kind of marrying of the two things. And I think for me, success would just be to keep going and keep moving forward.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's very you. And that is very good. Happiness is the most important thing. And I do think, obviously, Johnny, picture of him there, is just
And my
such-
nieces.
and your nieces, like your family is so important to you. And I do think that's
They're the
important. And you're also someone who gets a lot of energy from playing amazing roles and doing amazing
Yeah.
stuff with fun casts. So a lot of the time, I find that we have all of these amazing successes, whether that be finding a lovely relationship, making time for friends, or career highs. But once we get there, we kind of forget how much we wanted it when we were younger.
Yeah.
So the next question is, what do you think your 15-year-old self would say to you right now?
Gosh, 15. Where would I have been? Well, I would have been so I went to Performing Arts High School. I think he'd be buzzing. Jacob, I think he'd be really happy. I think my 15-year-old self would say to me, what is Lady Gaga doing right now? I think he would. I think my 15-year-old self would be so like, that's great for you. Tell me what is in future for Gaga.
Mm-hmm.
Because at 15, we were going into the art pop era. And for diehard fans, that was an incredible era. But it was a tough era for the general public.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a time. If you were in the battlefields back in art pop,
The battle balls.
he really went through it. So I would say, he'd probably say something stupid like that.
Great answer.
Thanks.
All right. what is something, because it's Dressing Room Diaries, what is something that you'd love to see in the diary this time next year?
This time next year?
Yeah, within a year's time.
Oh, okay.
It can be anything.
Yeah, I'd love to see some time at home with my family.
Scotland.
Yeah, because tours, you're away from them a lot. And I have the two greatest nieces in the world, and they are growing up so fast. And I would just love to see them and spend time with them. And I did get to on our 6-week break, and it was just so joyful and lovely, and it fills my soul. So I would like to do that.
That is so sweet. Ryan!
Thanks, babe!
Thank you, my love.
Thank
this was
you.
great. Thank you guys so much for watching the first episode of Dressing Room Diaries with Ryan Kopel.
And Vivian.
Actor phenomenon Ryan Kopel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We are going to put out a new episode every month. And obviously the vlogs, the Dear Evan Hansen vlogs are still continuing. So
Thank God.
Thank goodness, because what would we do without the vlogs?
God, honestly.
Yeah, if you liked it, give it a like and please subscribe. And I will see you with another vlog next week.
Mayhem out March 7th. See you there.